Okay, so that's the tunnel you come out of, and that was from the original, one of your original views. And I really like they put that back in, but they put that transition right in the middle of it, which kind of stinks. The transition initially was way farther back though, so it had to be adjusted. But and this is our original little hub, although not quite, but before they introduced aviary. So it's kind of cool to see it back too. And then you used to jump off this to go to Prairie. And the Cape kiosk used to be over there. The Cape kiosk used to be over there, the closet, and the emotes that we just collected in aisle used to be here on the right. There was a little trap door that led to another one. All the Prairie emotes were here. Everything was in Prairie. There were no emotes in aisle at all. But obviously all that's changed a million times since in a year. I've been playing the beta since early March of 2018. So it's been over a year. I was actually hoping to connect one of my other accounts, and I will end up having to do that to get the 2 doors. So here's Prairie, and of course it's been reconfigured a few times. These sections have remained for a little while now. This is called Fields, and it's not really referred to as that in the game anymore, but it was initially, so people do still use those words for it. Fields here. And here you see I have a constellation gate I can't access, 0 of 1. Butterflies help charge me, also help me fly. And here was another test, 0 of 1 what, and oh, that flying. This tendency for it to stop you in midair randomly is one of the things that I've noticed is driving me bonkers. Like, I don't know why it keeps doing that, but it does. Maybe I'm doing something, I'm not sure, but it's driving me crazy. Here's our star, so I was going to see if it was stars. So I'm going to go back down and check it out. See, there's another gate. And people don't like the way those look. And I don't like the way they look either. But it is what it is. Come back after more stars are restored. But it says 0 of 1. I just collected 1. So yeah, it's emotes. Because as soon as I go and collect this emote, I'll have access. Oh, I didn't notice that other door. Oops. I'd almost rather they make it doorways. And here's another new little... Now, I can't remember now if this animation was like this when it was the flame quest. We called them flame quests, and it was you carried a flame. Actually carried it. You actually had to pull it along. And this is similar. It may not be identical, but it is similar. But it's all free now rather than... I still think he looks silly in the afro, but whatever. I didn't actually show. I'll have to remember to do that in the later levels. Show the emote maps. If I can see them, I have to check that out. I'm thinking I don't see them. No, the light stays on, so I can't access them here. But I think I can access them in home space. But the spirits, these are called spirits, ancestor spirits. And they will appear here in the next playthrough after I've finished the level. So you'll be able to access their stuff, and they have a map, a cosmetic map, and from there you buy the capes, hairstyles, emote upgrades, wing buffs, but anyway, that's later, and blessings, like blessings and spells. So all that's bought within those emote maps. That's what these ancestor spirits offer you. And the emote upgrades cost candles, and the cosmetics cost hearts. You can only get hearts from friends, candles you collect in the world. Here's another gate saying 1 of 4. So I need 3 more emotes before I can get there here in Prairie. And I think I go down to that doorway and see if I can get in there again. All the cosmetics, all of the currency, all of this has changed so many times. Yep, 1 of 1 now, so yeah, emotes. It's all changed so many times, it's hard to keep up with. So there's my 3rd wedge. I was checking to see how many stars. I was at 7 when I got, 7 got me the 3rd, beginning of the 3rd wedge. There's my butterfly catcher. Oh, see, I'm... Ugh. Sometimes the flight just... Yeah, it doesn't work very well. Try again. Here I was trying to figure out what I was doing. What was making me stop. And that time I went, I don't know. Some of these transitions are a little wonky still, so I'm going to be editing to make them look right, the way they should. This one is okay. This one at least has me go here. Emote, 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 and emote. There are 4 emotes in here. I never looked at my... But 2 are behind 2 doors. Here's 1. And there are 2 stars in here. 1 behind a 2 door. Yeah, and if you can't find where you're supposed to go, if you chirp, the little blue symbol comes up telling you, like your little beacon, telling you where you're supposed to be headed. And that's true everywhere. There's a yellow beacon image where you're supposed to go ultimately in the level. And if you chirp, you see it. Chirp, call. I call it chirp because it's just like journey, but it's call. And you'll just see where you're supposed to go. I'm trying to get... Once you collect these, you never get to see them again. That was the one nice thing about having the upgrades, the cape upgrade process linked to Storm and then recollecting emotes. So you got to see the sequence over and over again, though it could also get tedious. And always you'll see that and you actually got to do the emote, which I think is a neat touch too, having to do the emote. Then you understand you've received the emote. I had a lot of people when I was playing a lot more regularly and traveling with a lot of new people who didn't even understand that they collected an emote. They had no idea. There were just some people, and you can see the little halo down there. There's a prompt to forge a candle. Collecting candle wax to forge candles. That's how that is done. And then my star down here had the little sundog around it. So you're collecting candle wax by burning candles, red candles, and dark material, dark plants. And that helps you to forge a candle that you can then gift to other players or buy emote upgrades. And here you see the little flame icon shows you what you can burn. And then these candles activate the bell towers. Not all candles give you candle wax. Most do. Most red candles should. White candles don't always. That you see around the area. So you can see I'm collecting up in that top right corner. I've just collected a little bit more wax and filling another white candle image up. Now I'm coming back here to activate this one. You can see more dark plant down there. That dark plant has been around a while now, but it was not in the game originally. They moved from candles to a lot of dark plants once they came up with the darkness thing, the darkness taking over the world, or the world being consumed by darkness, or darkness getting out of control, the balance getting out of control. One of the earlier versions of the story, the written story that was in the beginning tutorial, the beginning area, was that light and darkness used to live in harmony, but then something happened. It was never really clear what. Here's another emote. The emotes glow green and the stars glow that yellow orange. I just love these images. They're so cool. But sadly, you only get to see them once. There's more candles I could light and collect some wax. Collect wax, fill up my candle in the top right. The other candle that comes up there, there's star candles and seasonal candles. And I'm not sure what might be coming up in that. I don't have the seasonal thing activated. Because I'm a brand new player. And I'm not going to. It's pointless to even try that. Because it's going to be gone. And then again, it could be pointless to do this whole thing because it might change next month. Completely. I keep doing them though because, I don't know, for one, I think it's interesting also just to see how the game keeps changing and progressing. For better or for worse. I actually really like a lot of what they've done. My only complaint really is control. There's some work to be done on control, not flight power and not that whole thing, but just being able to control your character the way you think you should be able to. It's interesting how they always show an upgraded emote when you do the emote, but you don't get the upgrade. You get the basic emote. So am I going to look at my map? Here's another, and this one activates. Activates the big manta. And you can ride him up to the temple. Once you get close enough, there's a little triangle that appears on him, and you can tap that and attach to him. Or you can ride the bird path up there to the temple. But that is not where I'm going to go. I am now going to attempt and have some difficulty, but eventually be successful at connecting myself with one of my other IDs. Specifically my Mac. So to go back home, you tap in the top left corner and that gear icon. Tap the little archway and you can go back home. And that's the only reason I'm including this part here, is so that you see. But now you see my constellation in Isle looks like this, and I have 2 emotes that are flashing at me. If I tap them, their map opens. I've got 3 that are flashing at me in Prairie. I tap, and now my Prairie gate is also opening because I've got there. So I can go to both Isle and Prairie now. Obviously the other gates are closed or not even there. But this is the new home space, and it's public. It is no longer private. There's your closet with all your cosmetics. There's the invite shrines. You can invite players. In the beta, in order to invite other players, they have to be part of the beta. And now I'm going to go over here and look at my constellation table. This is the constellation table, and these are the constellations. And sure enough, when I tap one, I get the spirit, and I get what he can sell me. And it's going to be, you have to open it in order, or purchase in order, unlock it in order, and it's going to be blessings, spells, emote upgrades, and cosmetics. Hair, cape, leggings, and cape colors, leggings, and masks. Okay, so, and to get out of the constellations, you just tap somewhere on the screen. I was having a lot of trouble getting myself connected to my Mac ID. So I cut around in here so that I didn't waste too much time. So now you're going to see how to make friends. That's not my Mac. There's my Mac. And so my Mac offers a candle, or holds a candle. I hold my candle, and you can do that either by tapping the little icon or by tapping the flame itself, and you light the person, and you can see their image. And once you do that, you can tap them and friend them. Offer a candle, new friend accepts, and then you name them. I named her Macos. Mac OS, or Mac, I guess. And then I had to name my brown cape on my Mac. And then you can either hold hands as the next one. You don't have to do it, but if I offer, brown cape offers blue cape a hand, brown cape will be in the lead. If instead brown cape takes blue cape's offered hand, blue cape will be in the lead. And I just favorited by tapping that little star next to the name. You favorite the friend. Now Mac is offering a hand. I tap the icon, and I'm holding her hand. Therefore, she is in the lead. And she will lead me around. And I'm going to try to keep the camera correct. Moving on my Mac is just so much easier for me. Plus, I have a lot more cape power on my Mac. Now, obviously, some things in the game are much easier or require friends. 2 doors require friends. Flying is simply easier with friends because they help you stay a little bit more charged. So I'm going to take this flight again. I'm going to go directly into the next area, which is called, this is fields, and the area directly ahead is called villages. Again, they're not necessarily referred to that in any game notes anymore that I know of, but they were, and so it's an easy way of referencing them, of identifying them. You know, something is in villages, something is in caves, in nest, or in fields. Although it is confusing to newer players because they don't know what nest means. Nest is another area we'll get to. Here's the 2 door. Light some candles to collect some wax. And then light the door, which strangely has trouble opening before I walk away. And I'm going to show you how to take another player's hand without them offering. So what I do is I tap on blue cape. I then touch the bottom icon with the little arrow pointing down. Handhold comes up over her head. I tap it and I'm holding her hand without her offering. Now you can see an emote directly ahead and there's a star over to the right. We'll collect the star. And then we will collect the emote. And the nice thing about this is Mac can lead me. I don't have to let go of her hand. That was untrue of the old emote quests where you had to carry the light. You could not hold hands. Now for Mac, this little blue light is just gray. And kind of hard to see. You don't get a feedback when you chirp like you do when you're collecting it new. I just love these images. They're so cool. They're so clever. All this work they put into these images and you can only ever see them once. There it is. It does chirp at you too. The little light chirps at you, which I think is cute. And it has the little sundog around it too. The sundog is one of the really iconic images in this game. I was trying to see images of them before I lit them. Since, it'll only be video that I'll have to get to see them again until I start another new character. This is the clapping emote, and I kind of goofed on activating that Manta sequence at the same time. But you have the guy clapping down below, applauding his efforts. And I'm going to head to caves. Oof. And this one has a bit of a transition issue, so I'm going to cut to the correct place. 2 of 2 in Isle and 3 of 3 in Prairie is what I need in this gate. So I have it all. I was debating whether I was going to do this or not, but there we go. Because I didn't really get a good view of ahead, but his is coming down the little walkway, cave, into the cave. And then there is a star along the way, and it's really hard to see, and I wasn't even sure I got to the right place and realized I did. And out this way you can see where it is. And there's another one. Whoa, glitchy. There's the seasonal down below, and here's this other star. Like I said, I'm not going to mess with seasonal emotes. since they will be gone in a few weeks. Right there on, whoops, didn't realize you'd get an underwater view there. Right up there to the right of the cave walkways. That other star. And like I said, I do have a stars, just stars walkthrough. That's basically just stars, no emotes, no view, yeah. I was having trouble paying attention to the correct screen. That wasn't flight control problem. That was what screen I was looking at. Then last season's seasonal emote was up in here, but there's nothing up here now. One of the other emotes used to be up here too, but that emote has moved to forest. Only a couple of emotes moved around in this version. The one is in forest, and some of the vault emotes changed. Specific location, not general area. And that's Mac forging a candle. Remember to turn my view around. Oh, and in here. Now I'm sticking this in here from a later play because I forgot to go over here and look at this gate, which needs mountain emotes before I can open. So can't go in here. There is an emote back there, but I can't go in there right now as a new player. And I decided just to go with that rather than let my mat get us through. So there's the seasonal emote. And then we are going to have a little bit of transition issue here. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Okay, so getting back to where I should have been, back in fields. I just wanted to make sure this is the barrier we just came, that's where we just came from. I was getting myself turned around. Ah! Okay, and we're going to head over to what is called Nest. And the game does refer to this as Nest, at least during the season right now. So if you see a reference to the Nest, it's likely this area, not the Nest in Forest. And see, for some reason I kept on getting this slow down effect. Oof! So 4 of 4 emotes in Prairie, so I can get through. And whoopsie, buggy there, glitchy there, and then this transition. Okay, so this is where we should have come up in. It took me to the wrong place. The transitions got a bit mucked up in a recent update somehow, and they've not quite fixed them all yet. They've fixed the worst ones on iOS, not on Mac OS, which is why I have some problems between these two accounts. Okay, another star. There is one emote, or it's actually a call in this area. So it'll be the first call we collect. Everything else has been an emote, an action. The calls are voices, the way your character sounds when he taps on himself. And the call is at the higher of the broken towers. And there's the reflection of it. I let go of my friend's hand there so I can do it on my own. Hey, that ancestor spirit looks like my friend. Same hair. Jumping up these can be a little bit challenging, but you can just jump from one to the next. You don't have to go crazy. There's the call. Tap on it. Seems like every time I went into the emote map, I wasn't. Another candle has been forged. I wonder when it stops telling you to do that and lets you figure. Truthfully, my first playthrough, I had no idea I was supposed to do that. I have no idea if I lost candles because of it or not. It was a long time ago, and no idea I was supposed to tap that thing when the dot was blinking. Whoop, lost a bit of control there. Oh, and I am going to do the quest. There's a candle quest in this area. The candle quests are in various, and they used to be called creature spirit quests, but they're not anymore. So I just call them candle quests because there's not much else. It separates them from emote quests. Or, yeah. So candle quests basically earn you a candle by doing a something, and this one's a flying quest. There's one on, actually all of them now are flying quests, I think. Well, there's either the flying ones that are purely flying, or there are the ones where you have to actually release something from the ground. This one's a flying one where you don't have to stop. And you have to now be in the area, on that platform, something, in order for the quest to activate. You don't have to sit, but you have to be in the area, in that immediate area. It used to be that if somebody activated it while you were anywhere in the level, you would get sucked into it. That's not true anymore, which is a good thing. So you don't get sucked into a quest halfway through that you didn't want to be. I cannot believe I fell down that hole. I can't do that on purpose. How I did that on accident, I don't know. But all of a sudden I was falling, going, what the heck? But that was it. I fell down the hole. And I'm crashing into things. Don't mind the really wonky flying. I will blame the controls, though part of it was just boneheadedness. If you chirp or tap on yourself to call, you will see where the lights are that you need to collect. You'll get that little image. Crashed into that, which bounced me off. I still don't like how crashing into something bounces you off of it. You should go splat and stop. Realistically, you're just not going to bounce off of something you crash into, unless you're a rubber ball. And here's a bug with the quest animation. It was in the ground. Camera was in the ground. So now we're going to go back off to villages, and I'm going to have to make a cut so that we come out where we're supposed to, whereas the game took me to the wrong place because of transition issues. Okay, here we are. And someone posted on Facebook the transition issues were all fixed. I'm like, no, they're not. Now we're going to go into the butterfly cave. There is still only one place in the game that requires 8 players. And it's a purely extra place. It's a cool place, and it's a cool thing you can do there. But it is purely extra. And you need the butterfly catcher emote in order to do it. Fortunately, I have collected it. Don't know why the camera went backwards there. But this is the 8-player puzzle room. And you need 8 players. By rule, you need 8 players to activate this. And it takes you up into an area where you can collect a bunch of candles. And if all 8 players who get up there have prey, you can release a spirit of an animal. It's very cool. And this is going to take me to the wrong place again, so I'm going to cut. Okay, so we're back outside the room. And turned around in my Mac. And now I think we're just going to move on. We're going to activate the bell towers. Almost forgot I've got another remote to collect. This is the last one in this area. So cute. So they got the emote sequences, which are those little, places where you light the thing. every time. And then they've got this scene. These scenes have all changed. They've all changed by now, or most of them have changed by now, and this one is just adorable. This emote has moved several times around this area, but he's always been in this area, in this part of Prairie. He just keeps moving. Well, this has been his home for a little while now. Now into the final temple. So there is one emote I did not collect because he's down in that tunnel that I couldn't have access to. But for some reason I only have 3 green orbs in here. Not quite sure why. Here's a star. Looks like I have another cape upgrade. The cape upgrades obviously come faster in the early ones, but they do get slower. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, actually. And 4 in this immediate area. So I'm not quite sure why I only have 3 orbs. But I have everything, so it's okay. Go into the thing. It'll be interesting to see if it's the same in forest or if it changes, because it's possible that I did quit and come back. So it's possible that messed up the image. At least everything is there. I didn't lose anything. Or 3 might be the max it shows. I don't know. Isle and Prairie scenes here have not changed in a long time. I'm not sure those moves have ever changed, actually. My time. So, 14 months. But others have. The forest, mountains, and wasteland have all changed. And that is the end of Prairie.